Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Beat the Bell, presented by Kane Capital. Hope you guys have all been having an awesome week. CPI this morning to talk about the print. Diamond and Sal are going to be covering all you need to know on Fed forecast. Let's bring them in. Diamond, good morning. All right, technical difficulties there with Diamond, so maybe he won't be bringing you CPI print info. Stock Snipa, good morning.
Good morning. No technical difficulties. Life is good. Let's get some bags today. Let's make some money. Let's get rich, man.
All right, and Money Mander. All right. So Money Mander isn't here, and Diamond Trades is having technical difficulties. So this is officially the roughest start we've ever had to Bet the Bell. Snipe, should we talk about our days? All right. I'll talk about the system. Why don't we do that? All right. So initially here, pretty muted reaction, everybody. We did see the initial dip off of the CPI print. We'd love to know a little bit more about that. But while we let them figure their stuff out, I'm pulling up the system so that we can give it a look and so we can assess what is going on today. So we do apologize for the rough start to this morning's show, but it is what it is. We continue to truck forward, and we'll do our best to give you guys the necessary information that you need on this beautiful Wednesday morning. So taking a look at the system, we can see that we, of course, got the sell signal. And since we got that sell signal on the 1 hour chart, we have been unable to break back above the 50 SMA on the 1 hour. So that has served as resistance. In order for bulls to regain control and in order for bulls to do something special, they are going to need to have to clear that 1 hour 50 SMA. Now, September has been a very interesting month, and it has been some tricky trading. You combine the September seasonality, which September is the most bearish month on the year. You combine that with the fact that we also had the S&P futures ES rollover, which was a slow process. And as a result, we saw lots of choppy action. It has not been easy trading. Whereas in previous months this summer, where there was lots of trend, lots of opportunities to be found, I have found myself even struggling to find just 10 points on the day. So when the market gets like that, you have to understand that over trading is going to be your biggest killer. Okay, so as soon as the market gets choppy, what a lot of people do is they start to trade more and more because they get frustrated that they're not making the same amount of money, or maybe they're losing a bunch and they're taking all these small paper cuts. But really what you should be doing is trading small size, getting a feel for the market. And, I'm of course talking here about S&P futures because there have been some names, some individual stocks have been moving nicely. But trading the S&P futures, it has been important just to not overtrade. And this month is about survival and stacking those gains until we do see some trend. And hopefully we get some today. I mean, CPI The thought is that it would break us out of this base that we've been building this week. But so far, as I mentioned, very muted to start the day. So we'll see what happens there. All right. We should have Diamond back now.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Can you hear
Awesome.
me?
We can.
Nice. Beautiful.
All right. Let's do Fed forecast and economic calendar.
Yeah. So we'll start with the CPI print. So CPI came in at 4.3%, no, 3.7% rather. I'm sorry, on the headline level, 3.7% versus 3.5% expected. The month over month number came in at 0.6 versus 0.5% expected and 0.2% previous. So that month over month number has ticked up a little bit. Core inflation 0.3% versus 0.2 expectation, so more or less in line on the month over month core inflation. Core inflation year over year 4.3%, again in line there. So it's interesting to see here the headline number is up from last month on a year-over-year basis, obviously with that large jump in the 0.6 month over month, which is sort of expected again by the markets, sort of priced in there. And then the core inflation rate, which is a little bit more important to the Fed, actually came down on a year-over-year basis relative to last month, 4.3% versus 4.7% expected. So that's probably why you're getting a bit of the muted reaction here. It seems like the market was sort of front running this and knew that we would get this uptick, particularly in headline inflation. And so we'll have to see how the markets want to react. With more inflation data to come tomorrow and PPI, but not just that. Obviously, you have FOMC next week, so it'll be interesting to see the market's reaction here. And we will make sure to check the federal funds rate futures. They update every night. So we'll check those and we'll have those for you on Friday. I believe the last read was like a 7% chance that they hike rates next meeting. So we'll have to see if this inflation data has changed the market's expectations on where the Fed is going to bring rates going forward. That said, again, this is not the only news that we've got this week. PPI and retail sales tomorrow, followed by UMich inflation expectation, or consumer sentiment rather, on Friday. So still a lot of news to come out for the week. Let's go ahead and cover this week's trading. So the market has been choppy as expected ahead of today's print, giving lots of intraday volatility without much follow through in either direction as the market was sort of awaiting this inflation data. Yesterday, tech stocks led the market's decline on the back of a weak earnings report from Oracle, one of the largest tech stocks in the S&P 500. The Nasdaq dropped 1%, while the S&P and Dow fell by 0.6% and 0.1% respectively. Oracle dropped 13% after reporting earnings, which saw a revenue increase of 9% year over year to $12.5 billion, which was in line with analyst expectations. Cloud revenue also continued to drive growth there, rising 30% year over year. The reason that you saw Oracle drop, that cloud revenue, even though it did grow on a 30% year-over-year basis, that number is lower than we got in May and from last year's quarter. So a little bit of tapering in their strongest growth segment. And then secondly, they also gave a lackluster outlook for the current quarter in terms of guidance. So we saw Oracle take a big hit yesterday, and it brought some of the larger tech stocks with it. NVIDIA, Apple, both down yesterday as well. Speaking of Apple had their annual product unveiling event yesterday at their headquarters in Cupertino, California, debuting the iPhone 15, 15 Max, and 15 Pro. So the main updates that we got to the Apple iPhone, obviously the new USB-C charger for all iPhones. I'm sure that if you haven't heard about that yet, they've essentially changed their charger from that lightning charger, literally the only thing that's useful for to charge iPhones. It's the same sort of as their Macs now, and even Androids have the same charger. So getting that change obviously is going to be beneficial for a lot of people. You don't have to buy a specific charger just for your iPhone. Additionally, the lower priced iPhone 15 and 15 Plus models got a softer color infused back glass, a dynamic island multitasker, a faster A16 Bionic processor, and a new camera. The more expensive Pro model also got their new shortcut action button. So the little slider that you have on your iPhone, if you get the iPhone 15 Pro, that's now going to be a button. I know a massive change for Apple, and obviously took years of innovation for us to get there. Fun fact: if you're using that USB-C, you can actually use a USB-C to USB-C port, and you can like plug your AirPods into your iPhone and it'll charge it. So that's a cool new trick that they pulled out of the bag. Even amid all the new fanciness, the stock dropped 1.71%, getting caught in the broader market sell-off yesterday. Look, I love Apple products. I'm like first one in line, but I think that they're really running out of tricks here in terms of, updating the new iPhone. I'd love to get Snipes and Alejandro's take on what we're seeing out of Apple and the lack of the innovation or the lack thereof, really. I mean, it seems like every year they make some sort of minor tweak, add a new camera and throw it out there and people get in line. How long does that last before people realize, wait a minute, I could probably hold on to this iPhone for 3-4 more years until they want to, actually make some changes. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's very interesting because I'm not sure that the interest is there like it used to be with getting the new iPhone. I remember that was definitely a thing. Like people would be excited for the new iPhone coming out. And as you mentioned, I mean, it's pretty much been the same thing for the past like 4 or 5 years, I'd say. But that being said, the demand, we've seen it in the numbers, has not gone away for
Correct.
whatever reason. And it's just, it's insane. It's become ingrained in our culture. And I'll give a personal example where recently I had to upgrade my phone and I had no interest in getting the new iPhone. But as I transferred cell services, I was basically forced into upgrade. And so there's just so many different ways that they've kind of put their hand in everything to where people continue to buy the new iPhone, whether they want to or not. It's really amazing.
Yeah. Before we go to Snipes too, I think that you hit on a good point there. It seems like a big part of like you said, if it's like up to me, if I'm going to go out and spend like $1,000 on a new iPhone, like it's probably not worth it. But a lot of the cell carriers are like subsidizing your purchase there. Like they're going to help you get that new iPhone. Like if you switch to us, you'll get the newest iPhone X, Y, and Z. You see those like those promos everywhere. If you want to switch to AT&T, you'll get the new iPhone kind of thing, right? Like it's like they're subsidizing purchases. Even if you don't want one, if you're switching cell carriers, you'll probably get a new iPhone with it, right, for free. So I mean, Snipes, what do you think?
As a guy who has had so many iPhones, I mean, I don't even want to give a number here because it's a disturbing amount of how many phones I've lost, broken, got stolen, whatever the case could be.
I actually want to hear a ballpark because I'm interested.
There was the iPhone 3 and then the iPhone 3G and then 3GS. I've had every single model so far. I've not had the 14 yet, but every single model I've had. Of.
That's crazy.
Also the 5, the 5S, and the 5C. Like, I mean, I'm talking everything.
What's wrong with
you?
Whatever. That's not the point of what I'm getting at here. But as someone who's constantly changing phones, I could tell you that iPhone 13 versus the 14, I've not had the iPhone 14, and I'm not inclined at all to get it. Like, to me, it just kind of looks like a little fancy 13. It doesn't really have too much features or upgrades there. But now this 15 with this USB-C charger, that shit probably charges like that. I'm pretty excited about that. I know you guys have definitely encountered a lightning to USB cable at least once in your life. And that charges really quick. Now imagine what it's going to be like USB-C to USB-C. You ever use a PS5?
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, that's going to be ASAP. That's going to be a game changer, And they have had used lightning cable for quite a while now, but I think it's about time for a new charger because, I mean, lightning was on the iPhone 5, everything since the iPhone 4. So like we're almost a decade into the lightning cable. But my opinion overall, I think that the iPhone 15 will probably be a lot different versus the 14 to the 13.
I mean, okay, so even I'll give you that, right? The charging will be faster, but like, is that like enough of a marginal benefit for somebody to go out and like spend $1,000 on a new iPhone? Like, it's not like the old iPhones charge slow. Like, you're probably going to save like 5-10 minutes in terms of like getting to max battery power. It's like, is that for you?
The thing that I'm going to say is yes, that is one feature that will be a game changer. I can't tell you how many situations in life where I've had 20 minutes to charge my phone and I got to be gone for 8 hours. I do a lot of stuff. I move pretty quick. I think that will be a game changer itself. And also one thing that let alone is every single iPhone is a more powerful machine than the previous. And I'm talking just at data processing speeds. I'm talking about storage, lots of different factors. But my opinion, I think that just this charging speed is the cherry on top because we know we're getting a more powerful machine every single time a new iPhone comes out.
Yeah. All right. I hear you. I appreciate that take. I mean, I think that for like most people who are not living, the life of Snipes and need to charge their phones in 20 minutes for 8 hours, or whatever it is that you do, like, I just don't feel like it does come in pink. Somebody just mentioned that in the comments. It does now come in pink. I just don't know if that's enough. I guess we'll have to see when the numbers come out, in their next earnings report, but I just don't know if that's enough. Innovation for me, like, especially from, I mean, we expect like the highest level of innovation from this company. This is the largest company in the world, largest company in America. Like, this is our flagship company, and their flagship product hasn't really changed in like, more than half a decade. So I don't know. I'm left wanting more from Apple. We'll have to see how everybody else thinks when the earnings come out next quarter. But that'll wrap it up for Fed Forecast. Pass back to Alejandro.
All right, Snipes, take it away.
It's time for the best part of the show. Ryan, show us the statistics. All I see is myself. Nice. Nope. Oh, spoiler.
All I know is I'm winning. That's
okay,
all.
Diamond's winning. We'll just leave it at that.
That's all that matters.
I'm going to start it off with our first question. Green or red? Alejandro, what you got?
I've got green today.
Okay. Diamond, what you got?
I got green as well. Coin flip, obviously CPI, but
yeah, I'm gonna have to take red. I'm gonna be that guy. So now my next question for you guys is, we got a graph here, and the tweet was actually put out by Unusual Whales, and this is a growth in real home prices, real disposable incomes, and population. Now we can notice population's a steady uptrend for both U.S. and Canada. Whatever, that's not what we're here for. What we're looking at right now is that giant surge in home prices to income on Canada. Now, my question is, when you see U.S. right now, we see that home prices have just crossed the incomes. As incomes are starting to decline, home prices are still on the rise, and it's a very aggressive rise. Could we see a similar pop to what Canada is seeing right now? Now, again, we are looking at decades worth of work on Canada's chart. But is it possible? What do you think? I'm going to have to start this one off with Diamond.
So I think, what was it? Canada this has been a problem for Canada for a while now. Like, this is not like a new thing. I think that in July, they had the average home prices rise by like 1.8%, which I think was like the second strongest increase, like month over month in 5 years. So this is not, necessarily a new problem for Canada. I think that when you look at the fact that there's not a ton of new homes being built, I think that's probably also what's putting a bit of upward pressure on prices, both here and in Canada. Do I think that we're going to see a similar sort of ratio, going back to that chart with like the home prices like far outpacing incomes? I don't think so. I think that right now, especially when you have rates so elevated, I think that it makes it more difficult for people to go out and say, okay, I want to start a new mortgage here, with like 7% interest rates, but also in the same breath, it makes it very difficult for people to want to get out of their mortgages, right? For people to sell homes, right? You don't want to necessarily sell your home and then either have to go rent, and rent prices right now are relatively high, or go start a new mortgage at like 7%. If you've locked in a 2-3% mortgage, you're going to try and hold on to that for as long as possible. And I think that lack of supply probably is what's also putting a bit of upward pressure on prices. So I don't necessarily think that we'll see the same thing happen in the United States to that extent, but I do think that all of those factors could definitely put some upward pressure on home prices here for the short-term future. So that's my take.
Alejandro, what you got for me? I know it's probably hard to go after that.
Yeah, that was tough to follow up. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. Number one, in looking at the chart, it feels like if Ryan wants to put that back up, it feels a lot more like we're the Canada right now. So I mean, as I mentioned, hopefully that doesn't happen to us. I think that we're in a bit of a different situation, as Diamond explained.
I like it. So my next question, I'm definitely gonna get some hate for this one. I know at least one person is gonna say something. Someone's gonna say something. But now I got a tweet, and we could see what Gary Gensler actually said, the head of the SEC. He says that crypto is full of fraud, abuse, and misconduct. Now, my question is, do you guys agree with this? Do you guys agree? Like, do you guys believe that there's a bunch of sketchy stuff going on in the crypto world and the crypto community? I'm going to go ahead and start this one off with Diamond Trades.
I would say yes. I do think that I agree with him that there is a bunch of fraud and abuse and corruption, I guess is what he said, right? In the crypto space. But I would also say that you could say the same thing of the government, right? There's also fraud and abuse and corruption in the United States government. So I mean, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, sort of thing. As the chair of the SEC, it's like your job to create frameworks and regulations to prevent fraud, not necessarily completely shut out like a growing and innovative industry that obviously is going to be massively important for the global economy going forward. It like, what's the point of saying that? It's like, all right, it's your job to fix it. Like, I don't understand why that should be an argument for just like it seems like he just wants to stifle all sort of crypto innovation as of late. And so I just don't understand like why that would be his mindset. If he believes what he says, if he believes that there is a lot of fraud, like that's your job. Go in there, fix it, and make the United States a place where people can feel comfortable coming and investing in an innovative industry that's obviously going to be massively important for the future, instead of complaining about it. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Alejandro's looking a little scared over there. What you got for me?
Dude, I definitely agree. My mom texted me a couple weeks ago saying that, she had heard about, crypto investing from a friend or somebody at work or whatnot. And I basically told her it's the Wild West. And I told her there's that investing and buying these really shitty crypto coins or whatever, because that's what she was recommended. It's two completely different things. So I'm still not sold on the whole crypto thing. I think it's important for us at a young age to have some exposure because, as things work themselves out, a lot can change, and we have seen durability, and I do like having some exposure, but it's not something that I would recommend to my parents, if that makes sense, because I do think that there are a lot safer places to put your money.
I like that. So, honestly, it's not as bad as you think. Like a year ago, we had hundreds of thousands of people thinking that they're going to get rich off of cartoon characters and some bullshit tokens. But overall, now my final question for Bet the Bell, which is the best question, is an A, B, or C, and it is a list of stocks provided by one of our friends, Wolf Financial. Now, A, we got Apple, Amazon, J&J, and Visa. B, we got Tesla, Microsoft, JP Morgan, and Coca-Cola. C, we got Google, Facebook, Berkshire Hathaway, A-class shares, which is the long-term investing one, and Disney. I'm going to go ahead and say, Diamond, which one are you going to take, A, B, or C?
I'm going to take B. Can you throw the chart back up, Ryan? I'm going to take B. You look at A, I do love Apple and Amazon. Obviously, Visa, I think, is at risk of not necessarily becoming obsolete, but I think that you can definitely see competition coming in the form of fintech, whether that's going to be sooner or later. I think that inevitably comes. So that's why I don't necessarily love A. And then you look at C, Facebook and Google are very, very similar, both great businesses, but very similar. If you're going to pick 4 stocks, you don't want, 2 to be the exact same. And Disney is an absolute dumpster fire at the moment. B, Tesla, never bet against Elon. Microsoft, obviously one of the blue chips. JP Morgan, you have best in class in terms of financials, and then Coca-Cola will never, ever, ever, ever go away. So I'm going to go B.
I like it. Hondo, what you got?
I'm going to go with A, just because of how much I love Apple and Amazon as well. To me, that's the most no-brainer. B is a close second because of Tesla, but I think it's necessary to have some Apple in the port at all times.
I like A too. Just to be fair towards Wolf, at the time when this tweet was put out, C was much more of a reliable option. This was before Disney started to cry. But I'm going with A as well, and that'll wrap it up for Bet the Bell today. I'm going to pass it back to Hondo here.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this morning's show. Again, we want to apologize for the technical difficulties, but hopefully we were able to get you guys the information that you needed and wanted to see. We'll be trading live all day in the King Capital Discord. You can go to knashcapital.com or scan the QR on the screen. Other than that, guys, hope you have an awesome rest of your days, and we'll catch you on Friday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a good one, everybody.